it's nice to buy into that.
But I wasn't too rambling around about
No, it's good. Well, my question is getting, I guess, clearer in the sense of, okay, so someone resonates with you, someone watching this, they feel you, they like you, but I mean, the question I'm asking, so like, so for them to journey with you, do they have to have that compassion, that desire to arrive at that state where they live that? Do they have to, like, what is?
No. It's just part of what I would teach or share with them.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't use the word teach. Is all the technology, in a sense, that we have and I had to develop these parts of myself. I mean, they won't resonate unless that little part's there.
Yes.
That's part of identifying knowing. They see that and they go, well, wow, that sounds like really great, but
Right.
you have to recognize they wouldn't even be interested in that idea if that kernel wasn't there. Right? So it doesn't have to be big, it can be tiny. But the very fact that there's attraction means it's worth giving it a try.
Yeah.
That's it. And then, I mean, in the world today, there's yoga, okay, open up the body, but it's the lower of Patanjali Eightfold Path, you know? Okay, where do we go from there? And I've seen many people within the yoga schools not really having, many of the teachers not really having much of an idea of where it goes from physical asanas. And we've got, you know, law of attraction and mindfulness. All these things were lifted out of the traditions, dumbed down in a sense, or at least very selectively removed, like kind of, you know, our drugs. They pull them out of herbs, pull them out of their original context, and then say, well, this works. And okay, it does work. But if you want to go all the way with it, you stick it back into its context. I mean, minus some of the cultural trappings. Right? You don't need to wear ochre robes or anything like that necessarily, but I mean, you can still get to, there's a middle ground where you can really use the fullness of the situation. So
that's something you're offering.
In particular, my strengths are in,
Yes.
you know, I cross-reference to, you know, Christianity and New Age and all those other things that I've talked about, but my strengths where I concentrated were in Tibetan Buddhism and in Hindu non-dual Advaita Vedanta. And they're incredibly pure lineages and they're far more complete. And Tibetan in particular is massively underused. I mean, in popular culture it's like, oh, well, we love the Dalai Lama and so forth. That's great, but it's not about hero worship. I mean, sure, there's an element of devotion in the guru, but there is so much to be learnt to, like, the contemplative cycle of meditations within Tibetan Buddhism is incredibly profound and incredibly not used. It just hasn't entered the mainstream. I don't really know why. I mean, it
Might be too intense.
Well, it was a monastic tradition, I think, and also, yeah, there's a bunch of reasons.
Yeah.
But my point is, I think it is way more accessible than people give it credit for. Way more powerful than people give it credit for. I mean, how is it that the Dalai Lama forgives the Chinese? They just go, wow, the Dalai Lama forgives the Chinese like he's some kind of Superman. No, you practice Lam Rim, you're the same. You will achieve that same nobility of spirit. You'll take that little kernel and turn into a person who literally gives himself to the world, which was the point of Jesus on the cross. Jesus was a classic Bodhisattva. In his world, he was like, I am on the cross of life. I'm willing to die, and I will consider this dying for the sins of the world. And that was not a fait accompli. Obviously, the sins are still going on. But in his world, he ascended to heaven, as we must do the same. He took responsibility. He was the Neo in the Matrix, as everybody must be the Neo in the Matrix. It's my responsibility to break the Matrix. You know, because this is a projection of my mind. In the beginning, phenomenologically, I am the consciousness. And people get that wrong because they assume that must mean that, oh, I'm the ego at the center of the world and nobody else matters. No, the true realization is like a single, it's like the flip of the ego. You are the self. It's by putting the leather, you can't change the entire world. The Buddha's saying is like you change the leather on your shoes and you can walk anywhere on the earth. Where, you know, it's like start with yourself. Everybody knows that truism, they've heard that. But they don't follow it through all the way because the paradigm says otherwise. It goes all the way. You are, I am that. You know, it's a blasphemous idea. historically within Christianity, but within Hinduism, Buddhism, it is absolutely essential. You are to be the jnani, you are to be the rishi, you are to be the Buddha. That's how it works, and that's what you're to do. And why not embrace such an incredible vision of possibility?
So the work with you is in realizing that is one way.
If you want to be turned on to the absolute purpose of life, if you want to know what the point of life is, I mean, people, they almost give up. They don't want to speculate. It's like, oh, the meaning of life, it's 42. Who knows? It's just kind of all, you know. There is a point to life. In a way you can put it into words, in a way you can't. It's a paradox. But you can give it your best shot. And again, Tibetans were hardcore about that. Give it your best shot. Give it your best shot today, now. This is what you're here for. It's not for all that stuff. It's not to pay off your mortgage and then die. No. I mean, Buddha walked away from the palace, right? He was like, screw that shit. That's just, I recognize this is not ultimate nourishment, therefore
Must find something else. Go. Yeah.
Yeah. What is? Ask yourself the question, and that question is so powerful. Like all forms of inquiry, Hindu inquiry. Who am I? Varinkati inquiry into all the nitty gritties of your life. You know, ask questions of yourself. Stop. What's the answer? Is there no answer? Okay. Is there an answer? Is it true? Is it true? Is it true? All the time. You know, and gradually you just become a true being. And the journey is a dazzling, sparkling, subtle one. It can be one that on the surface contradicts your ego and leaves you with this, what appears to be loneliness, what appears to be suffering, but you know that you're heading to something deep, deeply profound. You begin to know that you're heading towards the center of what you're here for. And not in just like an opinionated. Of course, everybody's got their opinion on that, but if you know, you know.
Yeah.
And we have this technology. You know, this is the modernist thing. We just think that we can just piss off thousands of years of culture, the single preoccupation of every culture until ours, every generation until ours, throughout the entirety of history and spirituality. And we just think, oh, well, we got science now. You know, great. Okay, so we got smartphones. What if we're so out of kilter with the world that, you know, we destroy ourselves in a generation, you know? Bleh. It's just stupid. It's just stupid, you know? And yet, our paradigm, our powers that be will constantly reflect, oh, no, that's fair enough. Keep going, pedal to the metal, you know? Madness. And why be part of the madness? You know, this is your integrity. Life is calling to you to your integrity, you know? And you can just, oh yeah, I'll keep doing what everyone does because they're still doing it, you know. I'll just get, and you know, I don't know, maybe it'll work in the end. It hasn't worked yet, but maybe it'll work. It's not good enough, and people recognise that. So anybody who recognises that on any level, is welcome to, you know, say hi.
Yes, nice. I like it.